I'd love to talk to you today about the process that we follow for every single one of our supported housing properties. After learning how to do this the wrong way and how to do it the right way over several years and thousands of properties, we now follow this step every single time we buy a property, and I would suggest that you do too if you want your supported housing investment to be safe, secure, and ultimately profitable. So there's a few things that absolutely every time you must have approved before you buy the property. Now the first one of these, and this is absolutely key, is that the provider that you are leasing your property to must be approved by the local authority that they're operating in to deliver supported housing services. How would we go about checking this? I'd want to make sure that they're already on the framework in the local area. I'd want to make sure that the local authority is already set up in rent payment with them. And from our perspective, we also like to go and visit the provider and make sure that they're doing a good job, because ultimately this investment is about the positive social impact and the difference it makes to the people's lives who live in these properties, and it's up to the provider to make sure that's going the right way. So first things first, make sure your provider is approved for delivery of supported housing services. Number two, we need to make sure that the actual property itself is approved for use as supported housing. So how do we do this? We send across our properties that we view to both the housing provider that we're working with and also the local authority. Both of these levels must approve the property. The housing provider must agree that the property is fit for purpose for the cohort of tenants that they are housing. And the local authority must also agree that the property is suitable. What does suitable mean? It means that the property must be in the right area in terms of crime statistics. It means that it must be suitable and fit for purpose for the type of people that are going to be in that property, because everyone's different, everyone has different needs. And they also must make sure that it's in the right area in terms of amenities and not too dense an area in terms of other supported accommodation. From the provider's perspective, they need to make sure it's serviceable from a staffing perspective as well. So we need to make sure that the property is approved. Not every property that we send through is approved. It's actually a very small percentage of the properties we look at. We have to look at a big load of properties to get a very small number approved. Once you've done that, the third and final thing that we need to get approved is the rent. We need to make sure that we agree with the local authority that they are happy to pay us the rent that we want for our property. How do we determine this? Typically, we'll look at what the rents are in the local area, and we'll make sure that we are somewhere within the remit of lowest to highest, somewhere in the middle there, showing that we're providing a fair market value rent for the local authority, specific for the type of people that they're going to house. There's a few things that are important here. The provider will send across a rent approval document to the local authority. This document will include the core rent, which goes to us, the landlord, which is what we would class as rent, but it also includes other services and costs for the provider, like maintenance, support costs, and everything that they will need to service and run that property above and beyond the core rent, which, as I said, comes to us, the landlord. We need to ensure that this whole package is set up to be sustainable, because don't forget, we're leasing these properties for a very long period of time. We want to make sure that that rent is fair, sustainable, and ultimately we want to make sure that the local authority has rubber stamped it and said, yes, we're happy that your rent is fair. We agree that the provider that you want to use is set up. We agree that the property that you want to use is suitable, and we agree that the rent that you've asked for is sustainable and fair. As long as these three things are done, you stand yourself in a pretty good chance of having a safe, secure, and profitable supported housing investment. We run regular webinars to show our clients and other interested parties how to safely invest, and also how to invest with us into the supported housing sector. If you're interested to find out more about this and take a look, click on the link below. We'll direct you to one of our recent ones, or get in touch directly with our team. We would love to hear from you.